Pragmatic Lee, and welcome to the first edition of 10 Barn Time Tidbits. This is not going to necessarily be a regular series, but it will be a series where as I get some personal things to share with you, some little small machining jobs that don't warrant their own video, just some general follow-ups on previous videos, I'll put the pieces together and make a tidbits video. This first one is going to kind of give a recap of last year. I'm recording this about the middle of February 2018, well, it's February 15th, 2018. And it's been a kind of monumental week for me as far as YouTube is concerned. I passed 5,000 subscribers this past week, just a couple nights ago. Went to bed with 4,999 and woke up with 5,006. So I'm at a loss. I enjoy doing these videos, but I do them for myself and to share. I do them for the purpose of sharing with you, the viewers. As I've said so many times before, I'm not a machinist. I've never been in a machine shop in my life. I'm a retired computer programmer. I do a little bit of programming right on, primarily for the agricultural industry. But as a somewhat retirement gift to myself, I set up this little shop here in the house. Started out with a little mini lathe and a little mini mill, and quickly felt like I was ready for something a little larger. And you've seen my equipment on here. I'm using a Precision Matthews 1127 lathe and a Precision Matthews 727 mill. Very, very pleased with them. But as I say, started out 2018 with a boom, passed 5,000 subscribers. So I went back and looked at 2017 and counted, and I was able, I see where I posted 41 machining videos in 2017. Not one every week. I never promised to get you one every week. I try to have some new content at least 2-3 times a month, and sometimes it is every week, but not all the time. But I just want to say a big thank you to all my subscribers for sharing the videos, the comments, the thumbs up. We're in this for fun, guys and ladies. We're doing this for fun to share one another. I've got a follow-up right now, or I've got about 4 items here, I think, or 4 tidbits in this video. But the first one is going to be a follow-up to my previous video last week, where I made this 22 and a half degree angle block. So let me get set up to show you something that came to mind about this angle block. All right, in my last video, I made this 22 and a half degree angle block. And if you recall, the purpose of that, of what I was wanting to do, was to put 2 of those together, put 2 22 and a half degree angles together to make a 45. And I said if I set the piece on here like such, what I would get is this long flat here, and 2 of those long flats gave me a very nice 45, but it gave me an acute 45. And what I was looking for was for an obtuse angle, greater than 90 degrees. And so I reasoned that, okay, I need a complement of 22 and a half, which is 67 and a half. So I took a 30 degree angle block, I took a 15 degree angle block, that's 45, and then I set my 22 and a half on there to get to 67 and a half, stood all those up in the mill vise, and was able to get this angle up here. And 2 of those gave me exactly what I was looking for. But then as I lay down that night, went to bed after I'd recorded, edited, rendered that video and posted it, something dawned on me in the middle before I went to sleep. You know, a lot of times when we lay down in bed, we have to rewind, as my mother calls it. We have to rewind a day's activity. And that's exactly what I was doing, rewinding in my mind, and I thought, Lee, how crazy could you have been? That was not necessary. And then I lay there thinking, I wonder how many of my viewers are going to catch on to that. And 2 of my viewers did. As a matter of fact, I pinned one of them, the first one's comment about that. I didn't need to stack all these blocks up. All I needed to do was simply use the end of my angle block, the complement end, and just stood that up in the mill, just like that, and that would have produced my angle exactly. So, as I say, I welcome comments, and they don't always have to be praise comments. As a matter of fact, I really appreciate those that point out to me something I could have done a little easier or a little better. So I thank you for those that commented on that video. And just remember, no matter what angle block you've got, this is a 30 degree. If I need a 60 degree, all I've got to do is turn it to the end. This is a 15 degree. The complement of 15 degree is what, 75 degrees? So turn it on the end. All right, the next tidbit in this episode involves this multi-use indicator holder that, again, you saw me build in a video a little while back. If you recall, it's simply, you can carry it in this way, lock it down, you can flip it over, turn the indicator. You've got it on the back side then for indicating to be sure a piece is flat in your jaws. Got a lot of nice compliments and feedbacks on that. As a matter of fact, a couple of guys sent me messages that they built one themselves. Well, I got a couple more uses for the multi-use indicator. Number one, I replaced the back and put a magnetic back on there. So this same indicator can serve as our guide to how far we want our carriage to come in, just by adding that very cheap magnetic back. Now, one other aspect of it was, I think a lot of us probably have these indicator holders, the old steel farm ones that we've repurposed or thrown back in a drawer and don't really use that much when we got the Noga styles now. Well, what I did was simply machine the opposite side of the dovetail and put a little hole with a locking screw on that side. Now, the purpose of doing that is to use this same multi-purpose indicator we've got here for yet a fourth purpose. Take one of your cutting tools that you know is on center. Now, place this on there, and I added this thumb screw on there as a locking screw. Now, all we've got to do is move this around. You may not be able to see that. I'm using this magnetic base to lock that down. And then all I'm going to do is touch that down until I've got a little bit of preload on my indicator. Set my dial to 0 right there. And then, without disturbing any work that's in your lathe, if you need to exchange a tool, you again just set that to one that you know is correct. You can always slide it out of the way because it's, again, going on your cross slide down here, which is machine surface as well. Put another one in, and let's just see. And that one's within about 4/1000ths of what the other one was. Plenty close to center on there. So just another little tidbit, 2 more uses for your multi-use indicator holder. Sometime back, I bought this little air grinder and then made simply a clamping mount like you've seen so many folks do before. Very similar in cutting the dovetail cutter, just like I cut it for the multi-use indicator holder. But I mounted that in there, and I'll show you my first use for it. I've got several center punches that need a little restoration on the tip down here. This one's not too bad. but I've got a couple more over there we'll get to in just a moment that are in pretty bad shape on the end. And what I've done is gone through my various collets to find one that would fit these different sizes, and being sure that I stay off of the point when I'm tightening up here, or staying on the points. So I'm going to tighten that up in the collet. I've got the lathe in reverse now, and what I'm going to use, this little grinder right here is, I know you've all seen them, just making a tool post grinder. This one's operated by air, and I'm not on tank pressure. I'm using the air pressure I usually use from a blow-off hose over here, which is about 50 pounds. But I've got the compound set at 45 degrees. And I've got the tool post set perpendicular or in line with the compound. So, see if I can back out just a little bit more. So my work tool, so my grinder is in line or is at a 45-degree angle to the tool. On these center punches, the point itself is 90-degree included, 45 each side. And what I'm going to do is bring the cross slide up and lock it down into position. I'm going to back that off a little bit, and I've got enough travel on my compound here that I can go the full width of the wheel, just like a bench top grinder. Don't want to use one spot on the wheel. Want to try to use and wear it the same. So I'm going to turn that on, and I'll just use the the cross slide to bring it back up to where it touches off. That looks like a very good point on that one. This one was not in bad shape at all. But that restored that point pretty good. All right, I'm going to put the next one in. Matter of fact, the next one is kind of a small one. This was in a box of stuff I got. It's a 5/32 point is what it says. Mayhew, M-A-Y-H-E-W-S-A. I'm going to install that one. The collet that seems to fit that is about a 3/8. Going to have to tighten it all the way down. But what I was going to show you on this one was that it looks like at some point in time somebody just carried this one to a bench grinder and tried to manually hold it and put a point on it. I think we can do a little better than that with this setup. So again, we'll come in close. Now, my work tool or my grinder is turning in this direction, and the lathe is turning in that direction, so they're opposing each other. And yeah, that's going to take just a little more than the other one to get that manual grind off. And I think that point looks a whole lot better there. Now, the final one is a rather large one, And again, the point's not too bad on it, but it is flattened. Actually, the point is pretty bad on it. Point's pretty much gone. So we're going to see what we can do with this one. And that's got a good point on there again. And finally, the last segment in this episode of 10 Barn Time Tidbits is going to be a little work on the mill down here. Recently, an internet acquaintance that I met through the Facebook groups contacted me and said he had watched my video of where I made this bench anvil, bench block, from, of course, Mark's drawing at lazymachinist.com. And he had got all the parts done, everything done to it, except milling these flats on here. And if you recall from the video that I did, the purpose of these flats is to hold it in a vise, if you need to hold this in a vise. So in any case, he asked me about could I put the hex on his for him, mill the hexagon on it, and I told him, sure, send it on to me, and we would, I'd get it set up. So I've got it in the vise here. I've already determined to get down to the 2.75 across the flats. On his, I need to go down 119 thousandths. So I've got a brand new 5/8 inch end mill in there. I'm going to try that and see if I can take all of that at one time. I've already got it zeroed out. But each time I make a cut, I'm simply going to rotate 60 degrees on the rotary table here. I tell you what, let's do about 50 at the time. All right, since it's so close on this jaw right here, I'm going to go ahead and do all 6 of the cuts at the with my X-axis set. Then I'll come back around and get the other 60, 70 thousandths. Then that little bit that's left over here, I should be able to get that in one pass around. Just doing a sanity check there. All right, now we're going to go down to our final depth and make another pass all the way around. Okay, now for this final little bit that's on the outside out here, as thin as that is, I should be able to take that full depth Well, I hope you've enjoyed this first edition of 10 More Time Tidbits. I've got several projects lined up here in the shop. As a matter of fact, I've got a project already completed that's a birthday gift from my granddaughter. She'll be 14 in the end of March. I've already got the segments recorded, got a lot of editing to do on that. It is a gift. It's not a shop tool, but it involved a whole lot of machining. So I hope you'll watch that. There may be a couple other little videos in between this one and that one, because I obviously will not post that video until we go down to Atlanta at the end of March and visit with her and I give her the gift. But again, thank you so much for all the subscriptions, for all the comments, for the thumbs up. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.